is my second video of the week, I guess. Probably my final as well. Just because this week I had my migraines and vertigo, so I wasn't able to efficiently listen to all the notes. I'm still going through them, picking through them, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Yeah. So this week, Cherlyn talked, and she talked of the worldview and a biblical worldview, and what that actually meant. And something for me that it kind of started to drip out was just the idea of seeing the world in a different viewpoint. I know that's kind of redundant of biblical worldview, but like trying to make an effort, being intentional about your effort to see the world in a different standpoint, in a different way, and upon doing that, you can, have a different reaction to it. And so, I sat in the back of the classroom on the couch, sometimes late, but I listened to different points she brought up, and after going through the entire week and hearing everything, I'm going to bring up 3 different things that impacted me the most. 1, where I came from. 2, where I'm going. And 3, what I'm up against. 1, where I came from is we have a really good ability. I grew up in Lancaster, PA, so the place we come from has a lot of biblical worldview. It's built into the business, it's built into other things, but what happens, or what tends to happen, is that in our biblical worldview, we learn the values, but we don't learn the reason why behind it. And I say that not as like, oh, I don't know why behind it, but it's not something that we're typically taught as a church, because it's not like, okay, here are the biblical world values that we follow, but it's things that you grew up in the church learning. And so you see it in other people, and you never actually learn the intentionality behind it, because it's just something you pick up from what you see and what you hear. And so that has kind of changed my mind in the sense of, I want to go in and I want to learn why. Why do I do this? Why do I think this? And so I'm going to do that, and I do. And what I'm beginning to figure out and learn is, like, a lot of it stems from love. And God would put things in place just because He knew better than we did why it was supposed to be there. For example, before the Israelites even knew about germs or illnesses and taking over the camp, God had them go off separate from the camp, dig a hole, and poop it. And the reasoning behind it was so that they didn't have all this crap in the camp. Now, the Israelites didn't know this or didn't understand this and why the concept, but God knew, and so He put it in place. And if they followed it, then they would be healthy and they'd be okay. And so a lot of these values, now we can look back and understand, okay, this is where it came from, and this is a good value, and this is where we got it. But you can also realize some that are bad or that you don't see. Second is where I'm going with that, and that's, I want to experience the world. I want to experience the different biblical worldviews. I think I desire to travel, but to travel in a different sense, not just of, oh, I want to go visit this place, but I want to visit the culture. I want to get to know that culture and see what their worldviews are, how they compare to the biblical worldviews, and what that means, what it creates a difference, and what it creates. And so from here, I have these biblical worldviews, and now I want to go. Now I go. So when I go, I bring these biblical worldviews to those around me, and see how it affects the culture that I'm in, and how it changes the way they interact or how they go about things, how it really influences them in a more direct standpoint. And if I do this, then I'm able to truly be an influence and see that it's changing constantly. My biblical world value is changing. It's not just standing still or staying the same, but it changes. The fact that I think it was like 60% of your worldview is changed, is like affirmed, like already made up by the age of 6. Maybe it was 80. I don't know. It was like either 60 or 80% of your worldview was already made up by the age of 6. Or 5. I don't know. I'll come back to that. Basically, at a really young age, you've already affirmed the majority of your worldview. And you're a little kid, you're emotional, and you care about me. And you've already formed your general worldview. By the age of 13, it is fully formed, 100%. That's not saying it can't be changed, but it's fully formed. And so how you perceive the world comes from that. And that just blows my mind. That this experience, this thing that changes and affects everything that we do, comes out of us as a little kid. Yeah. So how I can change that in other people as I go. And lastly, like the war that's waging on. Something that has been made so clear to me this week is the war of light and dark, the spiritual war. I believed in angels and demons before, and like knew they were real, but it was always something in American culture that you just pushed to the back of your mind. You're like, yeah, it's real, but it's not here. It's not present. And so you begin having the standpoint of you just don't really accept it. And this week has been sorry, I was about to sneeze. This week has just been spiritual battle after spiritual battle. We watched a movie the one night, and it was on the love of Christ, but it was heavy into demonic stuff. It was like a documentary of a guy going on different missions trips, and like the way that demons just possess, and how real this spiritual fight is. And there's a girl that struggled with that, and like needed prayer, and like ran out of the room, and I mean, half of us still stayed in, but there's a good deal that was out there praying for her. And then actually last night we were there's a situation where after people had gone to bed, there's a girl that we felt we just needed to pray for, and so there's a group of us that was literally like praying for her, and like trying to protect her from these demons that just were so present, and I can literally feel them. And so different things happened, but basically there were demons and angels there. You could see them. You knew that they were there. And the light won. The light won, and that the light always wins. If you think about it, the darkness doesn't extinguish the light. The light just goes out. And so the darkness can't actually overtake the light. So when we're walking beside Christ, our lamp is ever filled, ever full. Our light doesn't go out. But as soon as we start straying from Him, as soon as the place where we get our source, our power from, to fuel our light, as soon as we start straying from that, we start growing dimmer and dimmer. And it's not that darkness is able to overtake us, but rather that we're overtaking ourselves until we go out, and then darkness can overtake because there's nothing to push it away. Our light is so important. But more, what came from this was rather the idea of we are warriors. We are warriors in this battle. We're not sitting idle on the side, and this isn't something that the Lord is like, oh, I'm going to send my angels to defeat these demons, and like only my angels, but He's sending us. He's sending us to be the truth and evidence to these people that he loves them and he is light. The video came, and there's a scene that they went to a New Age festival type thing, and there's people there that were just lost. And these pastors and people and ministers and stuff would go and pray for these people. I'd be like, hey, can I pray for you? And they're like, who's your medium? It's like, oh, you believe in Jesus Christ. He's the only way to God. He's the only way that we are able to be in a relationship with God and be with God. And they're like, oh, okay. So they begin to pray, and like, I mean, you saw different things in the video, from everything from a girl that was starting to be possessed and almost like a snake-like serpent spirit. Like her body was just, I mean, it was going like this. And, in that situation, the pastor commanded the spirit to stop because he didn't want those around to be terrified, or for it to even have the ability to take control or give fear to the rest of the surroundings. But you saw this take hold, and you saw these different things. But each time they were praying for love, just that God's love would be evident, that God's love would rain down and rain true. They weren't praying for let this thing come, or let them understand your precepts, Lord, or like your law, and let them follow and obey, and like recognize where this is. But it's just, Lord, love them. Send them your love. Lavish your love upon them. Cascade your love down on them, because the love is the winner. Love is not given from the opposite side. It's not even an article. It's a lie. So when they say love from the other side, it's all a lie, and that's all it is. But until we get to that point, like, we're just lost. Oh, so lost. And what can we do? This week has been real in the sense that it made things a reality. It forced me to realize that I can't become idle, because there's no such thing as being idle. You're either going or you're not. You're either turned on or you're not. Like a motor. If you're a motor, you're running, you're turned on. But if you're not, you're just sitting there and you're rusting. It's just like a light. If it's burning, that's getting light, and giving light. But if that flame is dying out, the moment it dies, that darkness seeps in, because no longer does it let the light be a part of its life. We have this honor and duty to serve the Lord, but when we look at people, we can't look at them as this is the enemy, but rather that the enemy is in them. So what this does, it takes our time, and instead invests it in the members that we are searching for, because God loves them. He loves those individuals. And so no longer am I fighting against the atheist or the Muslim. Now I'm fighting against the lies that they have learned. I'm not fighting the individual. I'm fighting their beliefs and their lies. I'm fighting the devil inside them. And then you can go into all of that. Well, is there actually a devil inside? Whatever. That's not my point. My point is that we need to look at the individual and look on them in love, instead of looking at them as the problem. Yeah. If you have any questions about anything that I experienced this week, please come ask me, because I'd be more than willing to share and talk. But I have so many thoughts that are floating around my head that I can't connect them all right now. So, yeah, please come ask me any questions that you have. Thanks.